Hi, Sunday Fun Day here at the office. What I want to talk about today is appraisals. I've been very surprised lately with how many people I talk to and they have no idea what an appraisal is, does, or whatever. We do appraisals in a lot of things: a car, your jewelry, anything that's of value. It needs to be appraised to have a price put on it. To do an appraisal, you need an expert in that area to appraise it. In other words, a real estate agent cannot do an appraisal on a diamond ring. And that happens a lot of times when a real estate agent is called in for an estate sale and there is antique furniture in there, jewelry, diamond rings, rubies, whatever. We need to call an expert in to put a price on these things. We only experts on the real estate part of it. But anyway, everything needs to be appraisal. If you're going to insure your jewelry, you need an expert appraisal, a jewelry appraisal. And they will look at it and tell you this is what it's worth, and the insurance company will accept that paper. Without a paper, without an appraisal, nobody knows. So when you go, we already went through the phases of contract, etc., and now it's time for the lender to say, yes, I'm going to give this guy the loan, this family the loan, this person the loan. They want to make sure that what they're lending you on has the value that they're lending you on. So we need a real estate appraisal. All agents, any agent, any realtor can come close to that by doing a CMA, a comparable market analysis, but we're not licensed for appraisals. An appraisal has a specific license to do appraisals, and that license is accepted by a lender. So here we go with the appraisal. There's three different types of appraisal, and they're different by the approach to an appraisal. The most used approach to a real estate appraisal would be the comparable market analysis, comparable sales. There's different words and different wording for it, but what we're looking at is we're looking to find a minimum of three comparable homes that's within as close as it can, same neighborhood as possible, as close as it can be, that's sold within the last 3 months, 6 months, a year, as close to the date as we can. Why is that? Because the market changes, if not daily, definitely yearly. So we will look at a few things. The house is sold, comparable to your house, according to square footage, according to age, and according to what it is that you have upgraded. Let's say that the house across the street is $300,000. It looks the same. It is exactly the same year built, but your house is got crystal chandeliers, it's got marble countertops, the bathroom is marbled, you upgraded the lighting and the flooring. And you got landscaped the backyard in a very professional, high-class way. These are all add-ons to the other house. Let's say, for example, that we have looked around and we can't find exactly the same home. You have a 3-2 and everything around is 4-2.5. There is a calculation we can do to add or subtract to a bedroom. So the 4-bedroom, we can subtract $15,000 and make it a 3. Come up with a 3 price. But anyway, that's the most common appraisal, and that appraisal is a sales comparable appraisal. We call it CMA, comparable market analysis, and there's 3 CMAs that when we go to get your listing, we're going to come up with a CMA. We're going to tell you this is what everything sold. When we have a seller's consultation, I'll come in with a seller's report, which will include market stats, your net sales after the sale, etc., etc. And then you have the appraisal guy that's gonna do probably a 25 page, they're pretty long, and send that to the bank. And then the lender will say, yes, I will loan you this, or you're short, or you're good. So that is one approach. The second approach, oh, let me do a little parenthesis here. So let's say that your house got burned, flooded, blown away with the wind, or whatever. That appraisal, the insurance appraisal, is completely different than an appraisal for a lender. Why? Because the insurance is not going to buy you the land again. So the land is a part of the house, but it has a completely different value. And you're going to see that on your tax record. You're going to see that your land is, let's say, $100,000, your house is $300,000, so your total taxes are $400,000. So when the insurance adjuster comes in, it's going to mostly look what it will cost you to build the house again, and it will subtract for wear and tear years. Different appraisal. Another approach is the city, the town. When they appraise your home, some people say, well, I'm not going to pay $400,000 for the house. In the tax record, it's only for $200,000. What happened there, once you bought a house 50 years ago, the appraisal district cannot jump up. They can only go up so far. So usually on a house that was held for a long term, kids grow and went to college, and then it's being sold kind of thing, the appraisal district is way behind of the value of the home. They will not catch up until this sale takes place. And then they will start at the price that you paid. So there's two different things in the same type of appraisal. Because in the beginning, that's what the appraisal district did. Come and check your house, look at the build, and then they appraised it. Second type of approach, income property. That is called an income approach. It is completely different than a house that you're going to live in, because now it is business. That house is producing income, so you are buying a business. And let me quote unquote on that one for a minute. Again, a little parenthesis. Make sure when you're buying an income property, if you want to, because the down payment is a lot higher than an FHA loan or something like that. And if you're going to live on it, you can get an FHA loan and a VA loan, but if you're not living on it, you committed fraud. Make sure that your lender knows to count that income. Let's suppose, and I'm going to use round numbers, that you're buying a fourplex. Each apartment makes $1,000 a month. They have almost 100%. They're never empty. The taxes are $5,000 a year, because the tax appraisal is still on the building, is not on the income. Remember that. Make sure, so 4 times 1,000 is 4,000 times 12, 48,000 minus the taxes and maybe some expenses. Let's call it $40,000. Let's say that this house made $40,000 every year. By the way, there is a way to get that to what it's really worth to you. There is a whole look at the internet. I don't have time to talk about it here today in this. I'm just talking about appraisals. Make sure your lender adds that to your income, because that is your income. You just bought a business. So if you buy the house, and it should be priced at about $400,000, if you buy the house for $400,000 and you're only making $100,000 a year, now you're making $140,000 a year, and that's the net. You're actually making 148 minus expenses, and you're gonna pay income tax accordingly. However, house income is not regular income, so you don't have to pay the Social Security and all that stuff. You just pay straight up income taxes as a business. And continue on that parenthesis, I will highly suggest to talk to a advisor, even a lawyer, and make yourself an LLC or a trust if you're going to be buying rental property and income property. But however, that is the income approach for an appraisal. The appraiser is going to come in and just make sure that the house is, looking good, but he might not find a 4, 6, 10 in anywhere near the vicinity. So he's going to use a straight up income approach on this house and give it to the lender. Are there any other appraisals? As I told you before, on an estate, you have a whole bunch of, the scope of the appraisal, it widens up to see what's inside, because you're buying the whole estate. Furniture, maybe it's from the 1800s and the couch is worth $100,000. Rings, jewelry, anything that's in the house that's worth, you should get appraised, and you should include it when you insure the house. So anyway, I hope I didn't bore you. That's an appraisal. Like I said, a lot of people, I say appraisal and they say, appraisal what? Because at the very end of the contract, the part where the bank says yes or no, we're gonna loan you the money, and it's both, this is important, both for the seller and the buyer. We have the hurdle of appraisal. Let's say we're buyers, we offer $400,000 for the house, but it only appraised for $375,000. So we have a document. Sorry about that. We have a document that's called, it's an appraisal document. And we say, we're gonna give you $400,000 if the house appraises for that. So when you try to explain to a buyer the appraisal part, this is what it means. And if you are the buyer and you hear your agent say that, this is the appraisal part. As a seller, let's say I came in with a CMA and I told you, well, the house is worth $350,000. And you say, well, no, my house is worth $375,000. Or to make the numbers even bigger, because that's the biggest gap, is on the, above million or multi-million-dollar homes. My house is not worth $10 million, it's worth 12 or 13 or 14. There's a big gap there. Will the appraisal kill that deal? Because when the appraisal comes in, the buyer just can walk away and say, nope, no buying that. I know I made you an offer for 13, but it's only worth 10. I want to give you 10. He can actually walk away at that point, completely. So this is the appraisal. This is how you gotta look at it as a buyer or as a seller. And like I said, I hope I didn't bore you today to death. It is Sunday, another beautiful day in San Antonio. I'm out of here. And I hope this is very helpful. And if you want more helpful advice, hints on real estate, on buying, on selling part, taxation, appraisals, whatever, click that button underneath there, that little bell button, and follow me. You follow me, and then you click that little bell. You're gonna get, every time I post a video, you're gonna get a notification. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you next week.